Hello, I'm Bill Booz, and this is my latest video update. The three things I want to talk about today have to do with filmmaking versus video recording, uh, editing on an iPad mini or iPad using software, as I'm doing for these video updates, and some of the reasons that I'm actually producing videos. So I talked the other day about three gentlemen, two young guys who Thomas Norman and Simon Cade, who are both interested in developing their filmmaking skills and that as a career. The third gentleman was Grant Johnston, a New Zealander who is really, I don't want to call him just a videographer, but he's not doing it to create, epic films. And another guy that I discovered on YouTube is Stephen Washer. And Stephen Washer is offering advice on video marketing, using videos as a way to market. But his motivation, again, is not to create an epic film. So that, to me, is filmmaking. And people that are interested in doing that, such as Simon and Thomas, I think that's part of their motivation. They want to actually get into directing and producing films. My interest is really just an interest in learning how to do this. I certainly don't plan to, at my age, to produce, direct, or otherwise be involved in the creation of an epic film. I do want to, and one of the things that I loved about Thomas's videos, I do want to record family events. I want to record trips that we go on with our grandchildren and our children and friends, and make videos from that. Okay, so that's how I distinguish between filmmaking and video recording. The other thing is that this series that it's evolved into what I'm now calling a series, my video updates, has motivated me to do all this on iOS devices, so that I'm recording it as I am right now on my iPhone, and I'm actually down in my studio because it's nighttime. I missed the window today when it was daylight to be able to do this upstairs. So I'm doing it downstairs in my studio. I've got some artificial lights, some CFL in a softbox here lighting me. And you can see behind me the kind of the little set that I've made for another video series that I'm doing. But the purpose is to record it all with the iPhone. I'm using an external microphone, the video micro, connected to my iPhone, so I get decent audio, hopefully. And then to develop, or rather to produce or edit and produce the video using software, or an app rather, on my iPad mini. And that's worked out pretty well. So what I've learned since doing the first one the other day was that iMovie didn't really give me the flexibility that I wanted. The iMovie app on my iPad. And I already had Pinnacle Pro, which is a iOS version of Pinnacle software, Pinnacle Studio, which I think comes from Corel. And the Pinnacle Pro on the iPad lets me create a template, so I can just drop the video into, I already have the intro there, and I have the outro, and I'm ready to roll. So it's much more useful for me to use that than it is to use iMovie. So that's the second item of interest, how I'm doing these videos. And thirdly, the question of why am I producing videos at all? Why am I doing this? And, I'm 71 years old. I'm retired from. I've always been in education all of my life, and I always like to learn something new. And so this is the thing that I want to learn now. And I attacked this about 3 years ago when I had a Canon 60D, and I had some ideas of what I wanted to do, but it kind of went by the wayside. Now that I've switched to Micro Four Thirds and I feel comfortable using the cameras that I have, I decided, well, they also record videos. So let's see how this EM1 does in recording videos that I want to produce and make available to people to help them with improving their photography or information about products that I use that I really like. Secondly, is so that I can do that. I can create videos that so I can share the information and knowledge that I have gained and and continue to gain about photography in general, using flash, so photography related topics, as well as the miscellaneous technology related topics. And then thirdly is what I kind of already mentioned. I want to share what I know about products that I'm using, pieces of equipment that I'm using, software that I'm using, apps that I'm using, and so on. And then finally is to, again, something I alluded to a minute ago, to document family trips, to document family events. My wife and I travel a lot, and so to document those trips. And that kind of brings up the question of albums versus books versus videos. In the old days, I used to put together albums of trips we took. And more recently, when we've gone on trips with friends or in family or taken our granddaughters on trips, I've created a book that documents that trip. And so the next trip that we're taking with our middle granddaughter, I plan to do a lot more video clips, kind of in the mimicking to some degree what Thomas Alex Norman does in the videos that I've seen that he's made. And so that's my motivation there, is to learn how to limit the length of time that I take videos. You know, it's hard to cut yourself off at 5 seconds or even 10 seconds, but I'm learning how to do that, and still be able to take still shots, because I still like to do that. And so I have this tool I think I've shown before, and it's an L bracket, and I can put my Video Micro up here, and I can put my iPhone here on the stand that I've got it on right now, and I can hold that in my left hand, and I can hold my EM1 in my right hand with a strap around my shoulder, and so I can take videos, and I can also take still pictures. And so that's what I plan to do on this trip as an experiment on documenting a trip through video as well as stills. And so that's my update for today. So we'll see what my brain brings up for the next time, and I thank you very much for checking in and seeing what I have to say. Good day.